Nothing quite says all-American like a huge pickup truck. Popular one from Ford, the Mustang, well, also very all-American and very popular. So kind of an apt way to kick off our coverage of the 2019 New York Auto Show. Speaking of kickoffs, well, the show itself gets started by first hosting the World Car Awards. So before anything out here on the show stands, I want to take you downstairs to the special events area and take you through the big winners and this year's ceremony. The annual World Car of the Year is the biggest, most prestigious automobile awards program on the planet, and it has only been gaining in prominence and prestige the past few years. This year saw some very strong cars compete in what has been the biggest year in terms of the number of nominees and the number of jurors representing every major automobile market worldwide. After the annual test drives in Los Angeles in November 2018, the new year began with the first round of voting, followed by the over 50 nominees being whittled down to the top 5 in all categories and top 10 for the World Car of the Year. The second round got us the top 3, announced in Geneva in March, and then it was time for the final results. The world's top journalists and auto industry executives gathered in New York at the annual auto show's opening at the awards breakfast ceremony, and it began with the World Car Design of the Year. Good morning to all of you. A very warm welcome from all of us at the World Car Awards. World Car Design of the Year 2019, the Jaguar I-Pace. The I-Pace beat the Suzuki JIMNY and Volvo XC40 to win design. It then also won its second award.
World Green Car is a double winner, Jaguar I-Pace.
The I-Pace won the Green Car Award by beating the Audi e-tron and the Hyundai Nexo. Next, it was the Performance Car of the Year.
The winner of the 2019 World Performance Car Award is the McLaren, the 720S.
The McLaren 720S stayed ahead of the Aston Martin Vantage and the Mercedes-AMG GT 4-door coupe.
The Suzuki JIMNY.
After 2 years of playing runner-up in the urban category, Suzuki had its first ever win at the World Car Awards. It beat the Hyundai Santro and the Kia Soul. In fact, it was ahead of the Kia Soul by just 2 points.
The World Luxury Car category this year is the Audi A7.
The Audi A7 won ahead of the Audi Q8 and the BMW 8 Series. And the World Car of the Year saw history being made.
The 2019 World Car of the Year is the Jaguar I-Pace.
The first ever triple win by any car. The Jaguar I-Pace is a standout winner for sure. All right, so I have the gentleman with me who had to, walk up 3 times up to the stage to collect 3 different trophies. Ian Callum, always just wonderful. And
likewise, always a pleasure.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I think that word's enough today for you. This is
incredible.
Winning awards like this for any brand is always special.
Yeah.
You've had that experience with JLR in the past, but this becomes kind of extra special, isn't it?
Well, having 3 awards is extremely special, you know. And as you say, I walked up these steps 3 times, and each time I walked up, I didn't know what I was going to say. I thought the design one I can do because I can talk about design. The green one I thought, well, okay, you know. I said, if you know what to say, what to say? Innovation, okay, good. But the third one, I was totally overwhelmed, and I didn't even think about it. I just thought, let's see what comes out. But because when you walk up for an award, you are thinking about, I have to say something. It's quite nerve-wracking. But the third time, it was from the heart. You saw that. But yeah, it's very special. But you know what's really special for me is that this car here is well and truly been recognised in so many ways, and that to me means a lot. You know, it's a different car. It's not a normal car, and people recognise it in a very positive way. So I couldn't have asked for more than that. Really couldn't.
The validation that it's not just a different car, it's not just an EV, it's not another Jaguar.
No.
And you know, the fact that you have the green car, which kind of fulfills that credential.
Yeah,
You have that
yeah.
trophy, you have the design
Yeah.
trophy, which talks about how people like the way it looks
Yeah.
and, you know, the proportion. And then you have the overall win. Has that sunk in? I mean,
It hasn't really. No, I mean, it's just an abundance, isn't it? I mean, there's 3 trophies there.
it's never happened before.
It's never happened before.
For anyone.
And we've had World Car trophies before, but this, of course, the World Car trophy thing has become a big event now. And you know, that's one thing that keeps going around in my mind. I was standing in that hall today. It was full.
Yeah.
People were taking this seriously. I remember a few years back it wasn't taken that seriously, but it's taken very seriously now. No, it hasn't sunk in, and the magnitude of it, I think it'll sink in when I get these things back to these trophies back to England, and I'm going to put them in Ralph's desk and let everybody come and see them. That's when it's going to sink in. But wow, what a moment! I mean, I was just over the moon.
He would
As
have
I
wanted
say,
to be here, I'm sure.
I know he was. He's just sent me a really nice email actually. So congratulating me. But you know, and I'll say this again, as I said to him, it's the teams. You know, we produced this car as a study, as a determination to create something special. We didn't really know what was going to come out the other end because we're dealing with so many unknown factors. But we were determined to do something that really worked. And I did say to my team, let's build the best car in the world.
Now you know
Honestly,
it is.
it is.
Now everybody knows it is.
Verification and endorsement, you know. And also, I've never been a great one of looking for favour or looking for endorsement from others. It's not a confidence thing. It's more about, well, people like it, don't like it, that's up to them. But this is different. This is doing a different car, being endorsed by people who really know what they're saying, really know what they're doing. And of course, there's always a question mark over a vehicle like this. There isn't any longer. So this endorsement is so important, so important.
What does it do for you and your team and the brand? I mean, in terms of where it goes from here, the intent to do more electrification, you know, from a business strategy point of view, we already know that is happening. But does it give you more freedom to sort of believe in the fact that?
Well, I don't really know yet
okay?
because, you know, I've got to take this stuff back first to see what happens.
It's too soon.
But no, I mean, we are committed to electric cars for the future, and you know, I'm quite open about that. And I think Jaguar could take a stand on this quite happily.
Yeah, we've spoken about that too.
Yeah, we have. But the thing for me is, I want this to sort of lift people's spirits and morales, and get them to a better place where they feel confident. You know, and that's what we need as a business at the moment. It's been quite difficult the last few months, as you know. And it does affect people's approach to things, and I think this verification will. I'll go back. I've had phone calls from my team, all of them, and they are over the moon. And it lifts them. It lifts everybody. It lifts the brand. And I think publicly as well, there's no doubt about it. This will lift the brand, and it won't just be the I-Pace. It will be all of our cars, because this will just pull it all up. You know what that stuff's like. You know, it's confidence. So, pure confidence. It's great.
And pure joy. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you
always great
so
to see
much.
you. It's great to see you with that smile on your face.
Thank you.
And to you and the team.
Thank you very much.
Many congrats.
Thank you, Sid. Thank you.
All right.
Come April 2020, India's largest car maker Maruti Suzuki will not sell any diesel cars in India. The price gap between petrol and diesel keeps getting narrower, and the share of diesel car sales in the total passenger car sales in India is at an all-time low of 20%. Maruti says that the cost of converting the current BS4 diesel engines to BS6 is too high, and that will reflect in the prices of its cars as well.
The conversion cost of a BS4 to a BS6 diesel car has a certain amount of money involved, which is quite significant. If you do that on a small diesel car, the percentage increase in the selling price of the car becomes significant. Now, the viability of such a car also depends on the relative prices of petrol and diesel. If the gap between the two is large, then customers will pay a higher price for a diesel vehicle because overall it works out.
Some of Maruti's high-selling models, such as the Swift, Dzire, Baleno, Ertiga, and the S-Cross, get a diesel engine option. In fact, the VITARA BREZZA, one of Maruti's bestsellers, gets only a diesel engine at present, which means we will soon see a petrol VITARA BREZZA on offer.
All models which are up to 1.3 liters diesel engine cannot be converted to BS6. The 1.5 liter, we will see how the market situation is. And if the market situation looks favorable and the price comes out to be reasonable, then we'll convert. From April 2020, there'll be no diesel cars from Maruti on sale.
There could also be a possibility that the new 1.5-litre diesel engine may be used in future Toyota models under the Suzuki-Toyota agreement. But there is some time before both companies come out with the operational details on this.
Really historic day for Jaguar Land Rover with those 3 wins. Now, there's one car that's pretty much a shoe-in as a nominee at least for the 2020 World Urban Car. I'm standing next to it. This is the all-new first ever Hyundai Venue. It's a global debut that's happening here at the New York Auto Show for this subcompact SUV. Certainly the car that's getting all the attention from our perspective. The Venue is extremely important, and a gentleman we've seen before on the show, Mr. Sangyup Lee, is the man who heads the design for these cars. Also the Santro, remember, that's the last time we spoke with him. Good to see you.
Good to see you. How are you?
I am good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Great reception. I think there's a lot of conversation happening around this car, and with good reason. The fact that you've done such a compact SUV, it's not just for one market or two markets, but you know, even here in the US, it's getting so much attention. When you started off on a blank sheet of paper, what was the one clear direction for you?
I must say this is one of the biggest challenge because this car launches here in the US, but actually this car is very, very important for Indian market. It's less than 4 meter. The SUV is becoming a mainstream. A really important vehicle for us in the Indian market, obviously. So we really have to analyze, understand the customer in India, here in the US, and start to find the commonality in between. Obviously, one strong commonality is SUV becoming a mainstream, obviously, and having a SUV also customer want a lot of character. Here in the US, obviously, you look at the car, it has to have a character. And obviously, at the same time, if you actually take a look at the Indian, the market, the customer, in a way is a little bit extrovert with a lot of textures and graphics and everything. So having those two common elements actually really try to apply into this vehicle. It's a challenging, but without a challenging design, it's not that fun.
It's not fun. Yeah, I knew you'll say that. The LED element up front, the front grille, it's immediately evocative, and what you said gets you that sense of presence right away.
Exactly. It's a small SUV, but small SUV doesn't mean to have a small, weak face.
Yeah.
We really want to have a strong face. You can really recognize easily from long distance. So if you take a look at it, a distinctive cascading grille with a the pattern, grille pattern, is so unique. Almost like you instantly recognize what the character is. Obviously, Hyundai main design character, composite lamp and the tongue separated. But we really like to actually adding a lamp DRL to be another unique feature to it. So we have a nice frame around it, so you can really instantly recognize once again from long distance. For us, is that the DRL character is so important these days in design, even though it's actually the functional element. But when car comes at you from long distance, first thing that you look at it is not the bumper, is not the grille, is the DRL character.
Like a signature.
Exactly. So we want to have a strong character on the venue from long distance with using a signature DRL character.
The fact that it's now the newest SUV in a really large portfolio. You've got the Palisade at one end.
Yes.
You've got this at the other.
Right.
The KONA really started this big design revolution with the SUVs. The new Santa Fe has it. There's a lot of talk. You've just shown something in Shanghai as well, which is possibly
Yes.
the next Creta. Why is it important to have this kind of go across the family, and yet for each one to have its own distinctive signature?
This is very important. If you take a look at customer point of view, if it's actually small SUV, mid-large SUV, large SUV, it's almost the same face and same design. Almost feel like, especially the customer who's buying the small one, make you feel like I'm buying this because I don't have enough money.
Yeah.
This is not the right message. We really want to have every typology SUV has its own character to it. So I'm buying this because my lifestyle fits to the venue versus Palisade, let's put it that way. Obviously, Palisade is our flagship big SUV, the 7-seater, the huge space inside of it. The other side, the venue here, is a smaller but actually very compatible inside space. A lot of character, a lot of bold character. So you don't feel like you're buying this one, but I'm not buying a cheaper one. I'm actually buying the venue as its own character.
Now, as much of a challenge as it is to do this on the outside and get that distinction, these days it's also a lot about the cabin and connectivity and touchscreen.
Absolutely.
On this car, given the fact that again it's a compact car, how difficult was it to achieve this?
I think that this is why all the components in interior has to be reduced as much as possible to emphasize the spaciousness inside of it, and especially for Indian market, the customer, they're all into a smartphone with a really high quality smartphone. So it's about having the car to be high tech. It's important, but at the same time, the car interior, all the screens and everything, able to the mirror what your smartphone can do. So that is a lot of focus that we do. So almost like a whole technology inside of the car is an extension of your own smartphone.
It's interesting how now you see that even on the smaller cars, maybe first and then see it on the bigger cars. In the old days, it was the other way around.
Exactly.
All right, so I always do this, and so at the last, I have to ask you your favorite design element on the car.
I really like the proportion of this car. It has almost like very boxy but yet sophisticated. And the windshield is a little bit stiff and the rear is a little bit faster. Almost I think in the way, I don't know if I might say it or not, but almost like you kind of feel like big Range Rover in the smaller scale. I think it worked out quite good with a very distinctive face in the front and rear.
It's great for us that India was such a key focus market for you when you designed this car. Can't wait to see it on the roads now, and can't wait to see you back in India as well.
I can't wait to go back.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Always
much.
a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Good to see you.